Okay. So, that's a good start, isn't it? Nothing like some dancing in BDSM on a Saturday morning.
That's the perfect way to start.
So,
I'm sure this is on.
Yeah, it will.
It will come
Yeah,
on.
he's
You're first.
good control. I'm very happy to wishing you welcome to the 6th NYT Festival. And we're happy to be here at Litteraturhuset. And Sofia Cerne, you're going to introduce yourself very soon. But we are looking forward to hearing you talk about your path from Pain-Slut to Dominatrix. Super cool. So the NYT Foundation, that's the responsible for this event. And I want to say this festival is possible because a huge contribution, voluntary contribution from all the festival team, the volunteers here, and also the contributors who comes here. So I want to say thank you for coming here and supporting our work for a sex-positive society. Take it away, Sofia.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here in Oslo at NYT Festivalen to share what I'm here to share with you, my passion. And my passion has developed over the years in this area. I call it tantric kink, and it's the merge of tantra and BDSM. And as you heard, I'm from Sweden, and I've been working in this area for 11 years now, giving sessions, holding workshops, trainings, coaching, written books, published, well, you name it. I do everything that's possible for me to spread out that Tantra and BDSM is nothing dangerous. And why do we go into these areas? I will try and explain my own journey into it and see if things evolve from there. I will also try and explain a little bit about this pain thing, and that was a request because many people are afraid of pain. That's natural. That's our biological system, to be afraid of what's dangerous and what hurts us. So I will come into that. 15 years ago, is it 15 years? Well, roughly. I had a hard time in my life, which many women and men in their mid-30s or mid-40s call it a life crisis, or call it a semi-burnout, or call it whatever you want. It is statistically developed that we have some crises in that part of life, and some people, they don't take care of that crisis. They don't care if, okay, is this it? Should I be married to this man or woman, or should I have 2 kids and a dog and a villa and all those kinds of questions? You start to think about, is this it? And, well, it was the same for me. During a burnout, everyone around me said, you have to be strong now, because my partner's mother, she passed away. And I had not the energy at all to be strong at that moment. So I was found at the floor crying the hell out of me. And there I was, having not really gone through the wall like everyone else. I stopped a little bit before. And in that time, I found yoga. And I'm not a yogi at all, but that kind of yoga, the Kundalini yoga, that hit me a little bit. So at that time in life, I went to these regular classes, and at a yoga camp, the yoga teacher had invited her ex, that was a Tantra teacher in Sweden during those days. It's one of our biggest ones that has been in the area for 30 years. It's Johan Ekenberg. At that time, he called his Tantra classes Sex, a Motorway to God. Now he called them Tantra 1. I think that's boring, but that's me. He was as a guest teacher at that retreat I went to, and at one of those sessions, we were dancing. There was not a tantric classes at all. It was just introductions to what tantra is. And I can resonate with the words about tantra is that tantra is a way to get more present. Tantra is a way to get more aware of something more. And it's about to feel. So I invite you now, close your eyes. I can't see it because I had so much light on me. Close your eyes. Feel your buttocks. And inhale deeply, and relax on the exhalation. And one more, together. And relax. And we do 1/3. Now you have started to practice Tantra. So take that with you. Tantra isn't something you can do at workshops or in the bedroom. Tantra is a way of life. It's a way of being more present in life. And that's what all teachings that I've been taking the last 15 years is, that it's about to get to know yourself and learn what's in your body. And from there, it's possible to meet a partner. And it doesn't have to be you can do Tantra with whoever you want. Men, women, queer, whatever, because it's all about energies. And my teachings in Tantra is that you awaken your inner energy, and that's what happened at that retreat I was at. We were dancing like maniacs at the dance floor. That's why I love to start my teachings or workshops or lectures with energy. And you get energy from dancing. And do you know why? It's because you move your body. It's because you start to feel. And it's because you inhale and exhale. That's Tantra. You don't have to call it ecstatic dance. You don't have to have the special music. You don't have to be at those events where all this happens. You can just put on your favorite music at home and dance like maniacs. And I did that. And I got this energy in my body flowing. So I just ran out of the shala, because this was at a very beautiful yoga retreat center, jumped into the water, take off my clothes, and jumped into the water. Because I was feeling alive. And I had been dead for so many years. I was this good girl. I went to school. I went to university. Okay, I was a little bit odd because I've always been having my own businesses and started doing projects. And I've been this good girl in a suit. So this was life for me. And after that, I did a lot of tantric workshops. And 2 years later, I have ended this relationship with the guy that was the dead mother. That was crazy because my life was crazy, because it was chaotic. I hadn't sorted things out in my life. And all these embodiment practices like Tantra and yoga helped me on that road, because I sorted things out by myself in that way. I also went to take some coaching classes and got a degree in that and helped other people find their life purpose. I worked with business development, helped people start their own companies. But I did it from another place because I was connected to my body. I need to get the gears straight in here because this should be like a story. And it feels so connected to myself. So I'm very personal in this talk, more than I used to be. We had this gathering at a place, but also in at that area, I did a lot of things, actually. So I had this fulfilling of my dream. I had my own place. I rented a place in Dalarna in Sweden with all these cottages, and I had a bed and breakfast at the same time as I was working down in Stockholm. So I did like 3 jobs at the same time. It didn't work well, but that's another story. We had a gathering at this place, and there was a guy there. And we connected. It was like people had been in the Tantra, and this is like, it's 2009, if you want the years straightened. I mean, if you want to just know how old I really is. We had this evening and we played and we did some exercises. It was like open space and people did workshops. It was free and like we paid just for the food and had that kind of weekend. And we connected, so we went to bed together. And he tested me at that night. He squeezed my nipples when we were having intercourse. I have never been into that before. And I liked it. And some years after, no, not some years, but well, some time after, he explained that he was on the search for a submissive. So he had tested me that night. This is not how we do it in the BDSM scene. In the BDSM scene, we play consensual. We have rules. We agree on beforehand what will happen. But this, it was very innocent, so I was okay with it. I think because I had a great sex. Or maybe that was the problem. Coming to that later. The thing is, with this pain thing, is that I really liked it. And the thing with pain is, try now on yourself. Pinch, you don't have to pinch your nipples. You pinch yourself, you pinch, like you hold it. And what happens in the body now, the body says, no, I don't want this. But if you inhale during the same time, you can't stop pinching. You have to pinch the whole time. And inhale. What happens after a while is that the endorphins will start to go through your system. But it will take like 10 minutes. You don't have to pinch yourself for 10 minutes. But that is the thing with pain, is also that in the brain, the center for lust and pain are very, very close to each other. So when we start to play with these things, after a while, your brain will get, what the hell happened? So that's the thing with pain. And if you need more adrenaline in your life, and at the time, I really needed more adrenaline, and I was also into more dopamine. I needed that because I had so many things to do. So the pain made me more present. I felt more alive. That was actually what happened in my body, but at that time I didn't know that. So I actually signed up with this guy for a journey to be his submissive. And we went quite deep into that. It wasn't like we talk in the BDSM scene, it wasn't a total power exchange, but it was like, and it wasn't really a 24/7, that's another word for that also, but it was like that. I had a collar, and that was at those days in the BDSM scene a sign that someone is submissive. Now it's a kinky accessoire if you go to clubs. I made a fool of myself, actually. I met a girl at a party that she had been to workshops with me to become a dominatrix. So actually, she had a collar at the club we went to, and I said, "Oh, who are you with? Are you submissive now?" No, this is just for fun. So this you can't be sure, but at that time at the BDSM scene, you were sure that if someone had a collar, they were submissive. And if it was a locker, that person was owned by someone. And now some people, if you are an independent woman especially, you will get triggered by this. Owned by someone. I'm not a slave. I'm a strong, independent woman. And for me to go into that area of being submissive, to wait for instructions, to actually do what he told me to, was a great journey, because, as you heard, I said I was working 3 jobs at the time where we met. I really was doing it again, was working too much, because it was so fun to do so many things. So after some months, I cleared everything out, and I went into a real sabbatical, actually. I sold my house, but that was planned before, so it wasn't for this I sold the house. And I had some money to really have this sabbatical. And during 2010, I went into a really deep submissiveness, where we practiced a lot, did a lot of sessions also with many other people, because he was also teaching and doing a lot of workshops in the area of rebirth breathing. So the breathing was with us all the time. And that's also where I'm coming from into this play, that as long as you are breathing, you are present. And I tell my clients, if you stop breathing, you will be dead. I will not kill you. We don't go into that kind of intense play. But that, you know for sure that you can hear and feel how people really, how they are, just if you listen to their breathing. And many people, they go like this and breathe very high up in the chest. You know that when you're stressed, and that's natural. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's also how I used to say that we do our best all the time. And back to this being a pain slut, I'm just going to give you one example from those journeys with also playing with others. I really liked this. I got spanked, and we didn't do this extreme BDSM play. We didn't play with needles or things like that. It was some like collars, some ropes, some spanking, with very light tools, actually. And that's also start with what you have. If you don't have tools, go to a horse shop. Don't go to the kink shops. This is true. Because the horse whips are made for using. The thing with those glitter and strass and all those, it hurts in your hand. If you're going to use tools, like you buy the best racket if you go to do this racket sports. If you go skiing, you buy the right boots. You don't do it in your sneakers. So it was like quite light BDSM I was into. But it was this kind of tool. Or use what you have at home. Go to the kitchen. You find some interesting tools in the drawers. Or, one of my favorites, go to the laundry room, take out the clothespins. Also, very fun to play with. Put them in different places on the body. If you want to play with pain. If you're not into pain, you can use more sensations. That's what I've been doing in the tantric kink. I call it sensation. Because you want to make an impact. You want to make the person you're playing with you want to create something. You want some things to happen. So I'm not very, I have been flying. I was put up in ropes and was hanging upside down. I've been doing those kinds of things as submissive. I've been spanked, but not so there's blood. Never on my body. That's a boundary for me. We don't do marks that don't go away for 3 or 4 days. And that was also one of the things that was very early when I started to play. I was sure, I was safe that we use the code words. We don't do things involuntarily like he did the first time. But that's just, that never happened after that. We agreed upon this will happen during the sessions. Or we agreed upon that we don't know what's going to happen, but you have the code words. And that's what makes it very safe, because you as a submissive, you use the code words that on the scene in Sweden and in Europe, and I guess in Norway too, is yellow and red. It's like the traffic lights. Some people also use a green. So you, as a submissive, you use the code words if you aren't okay. That's what makes it safe to start to play, because it is a play. It was only during these first years that we were in this agreement that he should be dominating me. He was giving me sessions. But after almost, in the end of the summer, I realized it was fun to spank. And he made some floggers. And this is a flogger, and it's a very soft one. It could be used in a very sensual way. If you just use this on yourself or on your partner you're playing with, you get the body going. And since we were into Tantra, we were in this energy work too. So while using this kind of whip on a person that is open in the Kundalini energy going, and the energy is floating in the body, oh my God. As a giver, or as a top, or as a dominant, you end up in heaven. And the receiver too. They just love it. So I started to top. That's how I explained it to myself. I started to top my friends, because they were so into, they wanted to feel more of this. And we were a group of, I think we were like 8-10 persons that has been following each other on different workshops this year. And there was this guy that he was a bit afraid. And he was the strongest physically, because he was doing a lot of exercise. And he had a lot of muscle shielding on him, actually. And I said to him, because he wanted to do like the others, this is like preschool time. If you're in this group where all are trying, you want to do like the others. That's what's happening when we go to these kinds of workshops also, that you have to be aware that don't check out of yourself. So I really admire him for, no, I will not do this time, but can we do it privately, he said. And I said, what makes you feel more safe? Because he really wanted to try it. But there was a lot of resistance. And so I said, bring your favorite music. And I was spanked to that, because that's what I was doing. I used music as another sensation in this play. And he came with Rammstein. You're laughing. You are very tantric. But the thing with Rammstein and spanking is that energy really goes through your blood. And I didn't know Rammstein at the time. And this is German, I don't speak German. And he explained the lyrics. I am swimming behind you and looking up at your pussy. There's one of the tunes that he played. And I said, okay, this is a bit sexistic. Okay, we take it. I'll try to do this, because I was a little bit more tantric at that time. And everything was light. But I will say, Rammstein is perfect for spanking. And after that, I started to do more spanking. And went to more deeper sessions with people. And in the fall that year, I was spanked myself. And that guy that spanked me also started to play sexually with me. Because at that time, I separated the sex and the BDSM. And I think that's what helped me on my journey. Because when you also use the sexual energy, you get pleasure. Or if you don't play very harsh with people. So that was actually what happened. That guy, he started to use a dildo. I was like this, and he spanked me. And he started to use a dildo at the same time. And that's the only time in my play I said red. Because it doesn't work for me. Because the sexual energy needs to float in me when I'm playing. And I was cuffed. I was like this. I couldn't be me. I couldn't be free. That's also one thing I like to mention when you are new into this, that you don't have to do it the same time. If you like it the same time, if you want to be colored in the bed and banged, well, do that. Play like that. No problem for me. Because everyone play like they want to play. If adult people do their play, if it's consensual, just do it. We are free people. So that's the way I learned that for me I need to separate it. So I don't do much erotic BDSM. I do BDSM, and the tantric thing was like separated for some years. And we went on further and went to workshops together and learned more about tantra, learned more about transmission, got the more spiritual parts in the tantra. And at that moment, for me, it merged that this is what I actually love to do. For some years, then I started to give workshops that I called tantric pain. And I had workshops called BDSM and breathwork. And I found my niche also, and that was, it's in Swedish. I forgot the name now on the workshops I had for many years. Femdom, lär dig ta din man eller kvinna. There is the feminine domination, how to become a dominatrix. Because when I started to give these spanking sessions or professionally in Sweden, I learned that there were so many men that wanted to be spanked. They wanted to be dominated, and also many women. So if all women want to be spanked or dominated and all men want to be dominated, we need to teach people to become dominant, because there's not enough. And it was the same in the tantric community I was in. We sat at women's gatherings, and there are not so many tantric men. There are tantric boys. And we were women that came into this practice to become more strong women, and we wanted to be mature women that has worked our issues out. Because that's what's happening when you start to work with yourself. You fall into this deep hole where all your shit is buried. And you can resist it, or you can see, okay, what is it? What is this? Okay, oh fuck, I am that kind of. I have that in my, oh God, I need some therapy, or I need to do some body work, or I just need to fix myself. At least that is what we think. But I would say all people have some luggage. And on this journey, I will say, it's about to become more mature, not mature like age matured, but I really don't think the right word, but to marry your inner woman with your inner man. Or to embrace your feminine and your masculine. It's not to run around like a tantric woman looking for unicorns, or a tantric man to fuck you, if you are in heterosexual. It's not what it's about. It's about to do that, to learn how to find your inner masculine as a woman and your inner feminine also. Because we have all those energies in ourselves. So on that journey, as a woman, I learned how to be in my virginity. how to be the schoolgirl, how to embrace the good girl, which I have been for many years, so I know that, how to embrace the motherhood. People say, you have so much motherhood in you, and I look at myself and I say, that's amazing, because I don't have my own kids. So that was something given to me. They see me as a big mother, okay? You have to embrace the energy of the nun. You have to embrace the energy of your inner slut. You have to finally embrace the energy of the divine goddess. And it's the same for men. You have to embrace your virginity. You have to find your inner schoolboy. You have to find the good boy. Oh, I forgot one fun character, the teenager. That's where we love to play. If you imagine yourself as a teenager, your friends, you were not alike. You had different flavors. One flavor that was difficult for me to embrace was the bimbo. Since I was this good girl, I should be so good in school, and I should dress properly, and I wouldn't be seen as an idiot, because that's how I saw on bimbos. They had a lot of makeup, and they just was like this. Oh, I don't know. I always had to say, yes, I know, or I could find out. For boys, it's mainly the sports guy. Your boys should be strong, you should do exercise, you should be on team sports, play football, ice hockey, or whatever. That's a character. And we have all this inside us, and we deny some of them when we are brought up, because our environment wants you to be in a certain way. So I was on this journey to try and embrace all those colors inside me, and finally, I ended up as a dominatrix. That's also one of the energies, or characters, or archetypes, or personalities, or you can go into every kind of therapeutical direction and find this answer, but it's the same. In some therapies, they call it personalities, Jung call it archetypes, and I call it's a way to role play with. You don't have to be the doctor and nurse if you go into a BDSM play. You don't have to be the police, because those characteristics they aren't so fun. That's also why I'm just standing here in a red dress and not dressed like a dominatrix. I don't do that, because I like to take away all those images that you have about what it is, because you have it in your head. You have a lot of stories what you believe in, how it should be. So, when you have done your work, and I will say this to all of you, you find your characteristics, and if you can say to yourself, I can embrace all those flavors, then you have done your work, and you're ready to choose. So, for example, for this lecture, I choose the energy of the teacher. Tonight, at the tantric spanking workshops, you might see more of the energy. Still, I'm the teacher, but maybe the dominatrix will come out and play. I'm not sure, but I'm the one that's choosing. I don't end up into one of the personalities due to how you act. I'm the one in charge. And now we end up that the BDSM play or the tantric play or the tantric kink play is leadership training. It's true. That's my vision, actually, because that's why I'm still in this. I will turn all these teachings into leadership training. We need this in the boardrooms. That's true. So now you have been given how it was for me. I ended up as this dominatrix, and people think that that's something I am. And that's also how they play in the BDSM scene. Oh, you are submissive. You are dominant. No. That's something you choose to do or to be at that moment, in that special setting with that person. Because we mirror ourselves in others. All the time. So if you find a person that says, no, I'm dominant, you can't spank me, I will say, run the other way. That person has some work to do. And no offense, I am quite brutal when I'm speaking. And my kink is not your kink, but your kink is okay. That's another rule in the BDSM area, that we respect all other people's fetishes, kinks, as long as it is consensual. I have glasses and I don't see well, but I think she said it's 5 minutes left. Or it was 10. I look at that watch and I have 10 minutes. And she says 5. So now she's stealing 5 minutes from me. She will be spanked. Because a dominant person can never do wrong. It's true. Because I want her to feel, or I want him to feel. I want to stir up their system. I want them to cry, to scream, to feel, to laugh. I think I made a quick journey through my history. Today I work with tantric kink as one thing, and I work with tantra. And since I love to do so many things in my life, I have been teaching others to do tantric massage. I do my tantric kink workshops in a retreat at weekends. I give sessions as a dominatrix. I write books, as I said. You can buy the books in the bookstore. One is about tantric kink. It's also it's in Sweden. It's in Swedish, but the tantric kink book, I have it as an e-book in English. And you can find it on my website. Why did I write? Because I'm on a mission tour. I want you to start to play. I want to take away all the limits so you can feel more, so you can play more. That's why I write books, because many people want to learn first, because they are also these good girls or good boys that go to school and learn things. I am more into, okay, let's try this. Here we have a whip. Okay, we start to play a little bit. What can happen? This isn't so dangerous. I'm more into that. And also my workshops, it's not so much talking from me. It's about doing. It's learning by doing. What else do I do? Well, I got a new partner 7 years ago, and he thought that my whips were crappy. So he made some for me too. And he made them for you as well. So I have some floggers with me that I'm selling for him. So let's talk after if you want to buy a flogger and start to play. If you want to find out more about my teachings, you can write your email on the list over there. And now you have the time, a little bit time for questions if you have one. That was the 5 minutes. Yes?
Wait a minute. Okay, wow, Sofia, thank you for sharing. And it resonates so much, indeed, that it's a leadership training. Seriously. But then, like the creeping imposter syndrome after you play. And then the crucial part that you didn't have time to aftercare and debrief.
Yes.
Oh my God, then you feel crappy the next day. Who am I? What am I?
Yes.
Why am I doing this? And then this self-inner critic slut
Yes.
comes and really wants to nail you to the floor.
Yes.
What do you do?
Oh my God, what do you do? Well, you have, since you learned, you know yourself what you need. Some people, It varies. It's so different to say what I should do. What I will say, rest, inhale, and if you need cuddle, like the aftercare could be after the session, or the aftercare could end for many days. Some people get this drop, and you know why you get this drop? Well, why do you get a hangover if you drink? That's the same. It's because the dopamine goes too high, so the drop goes too quick. And if you play seldom, you also get a very high dopamine kick, but you have to play more. So it like becomes more like this. That's one more like biological explanation. And you also need to balance your hormone system completely and learn, okay, what is happening in my body? And the self-critics, yeah, well, that could be your mom. Yeah, because that's what happened to me. I was open with what I've been doing all the time. And my mother found out as a rumor that I was playing because I was on Swedish TV. And yeah, but this is true actually, because my aunt, she saw something on Facebook and called my mother. And my mom calls and says, "What the hell are you doing? Are you going to embarrass me again, as you did as a teenager?" Then I was more politically involved, and I've been always like talking a lot. And I was just listening since I've been doing so much trading, so I was just embracing all her anger and listening and said, There was like 45 minutes, and she was just yelling. And I thought, oh, well, I'm so sorry you feel like this, and we take care, I love you. No, I wasn't sure it was I love you at that moment. We hung up. 1 hour later, she called me and apologized. Apologized for being old. Actually, she said that. Because she couldn't be as open to this as she had liked herself, well, to be. She said, if I had been younger, I might have tried, she said. So for me, that was a blessing that I had mom at my back. Maybe that's why I also could continue working. More questions? I shouldn't answer so long.
Actually, no questions. Just thank you for sharing and being here.
I think we'll have time for one more question. Anyone? Can't see no hands. Okay. So I'll just...
I have one more thing.
Okay, one more thing. Yes.
Just one.
Yes.
I'm looking at that watch. I have 3 more minutes. I need to like finish it with saying that this was my journey, and as it said, from Pain-Slut to Dominatrix, that's one of my colors. And many people at the scene and at festivals like this, they see me in this energy. And I'm so happy to be here in Oslo, and I like to come back. If you don't want to come to Sweden to my retreats or workshops and trainings, well, if someone is sitting with a venue and wants to hold workshops, just give me a call and we can talk we can have coffee here. I'm inviting because I feel that you really like what I'm talking about, and I'm here on this planet to share my teachings, to share my experiences. So if you like it, I'm happy to come back, because I need to finish with one of the deepest things I did, and it was non-sexual too. In the crisis, I told you about my mother. It was terminal, she was dying from cancer, and I needed to rest. And instead of going for Easter holidays to my mom's place, a new friend from the community I was in at that time, invited me here to Oslo. I thought I would come here and he should tie me, because he was into shibari. And that was a longing for me. I love to be tied. And when I went off the train, he just took me and said, "Now let's walk." And he took over. He husbanded me. And that's a phrase in the tantric teachings about taking over and being dominant. I didn't have to think for 3 days and 3 nights. And we slept in separate beds. We didn't have sex. We went to one BDSM club one night. But that husbanding was one of the best retreats I've been to. I was just sitting and looking out and see the Oslo fjord, having tea, and I wasn't even allowed into the kitchen. I had to say, "I'm thirsty." And he served me. So for me, Oslo has a very special place in my BDSM heart. I wanted just to share with that. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sofia, for opening the NEAT Festival in such a splendid way. I was so touched, and there's so much resonance, as you said, here. So please make contact, and with me too, if you want Sofia back for a workshop. So I'm going to say that instead of gifts to the people giving lectures and stuff, what we do here at the NEAT Festival, we give a gift to an institution or something instead. So this year it will be Ravnaberget, a prison for female females that will get a book gift of about sexuality instead. So that's how we do it. And we also, I want to remind you, check out the bookstore. There's a lot of good books there from Sofia and others here, and also other books on sexuality. And also I want to say we have 3 tables reserved in the Café Oslo, the area to the right. So if you want to hang out to meet some new people, you could go to one of those tables and wait for someone else to come along and talk. And you can have our stickers, I can talk about sex, or, I want to have a coffee or something. And the next thing on the program here in 15 minutes is then how to watch porn with all of the pleasure and none of the shame. And upstairs in the second floor, Amaleskram, there is, this is in Norwegian, so I say it in Norwegian, Sex og smerter, kvinnehelse, på panelsamtale. Yeah. So, and then it's at 2 o'clock, there's a new workshop starting, but no workshop, you can join now. So thank you everyone, and enjoy and have a look here as well.